Okay, so now we're going to do something programming-wise. I'm going to close this transcript window, or actually collapse it, and leave the workspace window up. And I'm going to open the Monticello browser. Monticello is Squeak's answer to a repository type deal. And it basically gives you a list of places you can go and download various software in code form, sort of like SVN, Subversive, Mercury, all those good things. All right, so we are going to add a new repository by clicking on the plus button. It's going to be an HTTP repository. It's going to be at the location at Duke. It's not going to have a password, nor is it going to have a user. We're just going to be anonymous. And now it's been added to our list. Now we can open it. So happens that I went ahead and added a tutorial in the package OpenGL tutorial. You notice there are two versions of it, one from LDE, that's me, and a newer version from Jaren, who's a friend of mine from Amsterdam, who added a few things to make it work a little bit better. So now we're going to load it into the Smalltalk image. The Smalltalk image is basically the equivalent of the memory and everything else of the operating system. And that went really fast. So now we can close this Monticello window and we can look at our browser, which gives us a list of all the packages, classes, methods, etc. And here we go with a huge list of everything that is loaded into Squeak. These are all the classes of Squeak, and there's a lot of them. And at the very, very bottom, there's OpenGL tutorial. Now, the only class in the OpenGL tutorial package is OpenGL Morph. A morph is a kind of user interface widget. So we're going to actually use that. So we will type in OpenGL Morph, and then we will type new open in world. And what happens when we do that? First we'll go my morph equals open OGL morph new open in world. That says basically tell the class OGL morph to create a new instance of OGL morph, and while you're at it, tell that instance to open in world and put a reference to that instance in my morph. So now we do it, and if I typed it incorrectly, we get a little bitty tiny green morph. Aw, isn't that sweet? And it's basically an OpenGL object. And we can do some interesting things with it. We can select it. We can select it, I said. Haha. There we go. We could close it out. It would still be there, but it wouldn't be showing on screen. We can also select the menu extras, put in a window. and it turns it into a little bitty Squeak window. That's resizable and all the rest of it. Now there's a lot of little bitty glitches here because OpenGL is not part of the Squeak system. It's an external library and we haven't tidied up everything, but you can see it's actually doing something. What is it doing? Well, let's go back to the system browser, and when, as you can see, it screwed up there. It didn't show the little window thing. That's because OpenGL was rendering on top of everything else. The window is behind, but the OpenGL drawing surface is in front. Oh well. So how did it do that? Well, let's get this out of here. Hello. Moving right along. Let's put this over here. Or better yet, let's resize it. Go back and open the system browser again. Scroll down. Find our tutorial package. Find the class OpenGLMorph. And the main thing that is happening, there are two things. One is draw on, which any morph does. When you try to draw in a morph, when the operating system tells the morph, the user interface object, draw, it sends the draw on message. Now within our draw on message, there's a message saying render scene. And our render scene message is clear color 0, so 0 is red, with green of 1, with blue of 0, and with an alpha of 1. And we've done this cute little thing of, that's actually a 16-bit number with 4 hexadecimal thingy set up, and then it swaps buffers. So what does it do? Well, when it has a chance, it renders that cute little green. Now, a fun thing about Squeak is this is live. By live, we mean the object we see here is running. However, the method render scene we can edit while the object is running. So we'll add a 0.5 to make it half red, and then we'll save it. And then we'll do something to make it refresh. And it didn't work. Let's try that again. Let's make it a little less green. Save it. And now, there we go. Finally it worked. Silly me. It's a rather ugly color. Let's get rid of all the green, or virtually all. Make that a 0.1. Save it. Now when we move it around, it's a greenish red. Or we can make it all red. Save it. And move it around, and it redraws itself. Without much difference. Okay, let's make it 1.5. Or 1.0. Save it again. Now this time, aha. Some colors don't show up as well as others. So if we wanted to show it as gray, we could make it 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. These little things here, OpenGL, GL clear color. That's a standard GL command. It's being sent to the GL object, which belongs to our OpenGL morph. And it's sending a clear color with the value of 0.5 for red, 0.5 for green, 0.5 for blue, and 1 for the alpha. And voila. When it refreshes, haven't quite that gotten queued up yet properly, but when it refreshes, it now draws gray. And you notice the neat thing about Squeak Smalltalk is that the object is live. You could make a very complicated object. Notice the overlap. The window is drawn by Squeak, so it's being counted in the window manager. OpenGL is being drawn by something else, and it draws on top of everything else. Makes it a little icky looking, but we'll pretend we don't see that. And there you see the live action ability of Squeak. You can edit an object while it's running.